Hello, everyone. I'm here with my sister Chika, and she's speaking to me from New Delhi, where she lives in the ashram in New Delhi.
Yes.
Her home country, however, is Japan. So she has a very interesting story to tell us. So, Chika, why don't you explain to us a little bit about your upbringing before you came to Master, where you were born, what you were doing, how you ended up in India?
Okay, that will be a long story. But I was born and raised in Japan. I did all my schooling in Japan. None of my family or relative have ever been to like outside of Japan.
Really?
I was the only one who wanted to go out, who wanted to study outside or work outside of the country.
Do you know why you had that desire? Do you have any idea why you felt that way?
I don't know, but maybe I don't know. I just wanted. I was fascinated, by looking at new places, different places, like on TV when I was growing up as a child,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, so I don't know why, but I think I have a. Um, I'm interested to adventures or
Uh-huh.
like, yeah.
Well, that's an understandable thing. So you were there as a child and you wanted to be somewhere else.
Yes. I mean, not that I didn't like my home
Uh-huh.
country. I was quite happy. I mean, our family is very, hmm, nothing special, very humble, sincere,
Uh-huh.
hardworking. I grew up outside of Tokyo. It was not a village anymore when I was growing up, but it used to be a village.
Uh-huh.
So there were rice paddies. My parents were from agriculture background. My grandparents were farmers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, quite peaceful childhood.
Very good. Very good. So what
And
go
yeah,
ahead.
no, no, no. Go ahead, please.
I was just going to ask you, were you a serious student in school? Did you like to study? Did you study language? Did you learn English when you were young?
Yeah, I did like to study. I was a good student. Um, I wanted to learn English more than like a regular curriculum
Uh-huh.
because I wanted to go out and see all the world.
Uh-huh.
So in high school, I chose a school where I could study more English and other foreign language also. I studied Chinese. Um, yeah, so that also helped me to open up a door to go out.
So when you did you go through university study? Did you finish all
Yes,
the way?
yes,
And,
yes. I finished study in Tokyo, but I got to spend a year in US during that 4 years of undergraduate.
so there's a way that a Japanese student can like an exchange student with one of the colleges.
Yes, 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 exactly, exactly.
So what college did you come to when you came? Where did you come to in the U.S.?
San Diego, UCSD.
Really? Did you
Yeah.
feel did you feel at home in American culture?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Of course, there was the language barrier and some cultural difference, but there is a certain freedom and openness that I really enjoy.
I
That
see.
I can feel that, oh yeah, this is me.
Uh, so it was sort of like it allowed parts of you to come out that weren't available to you in Japan.
Exactly. Exactly.
Did you associate when you were in America mostly with Americans, or did you have a coterie of Japanese friends here?
Japanese, Chinese, the Asian background,
Uh-huh.
and also Americans.
I see. Did you want to settle in the US after being here for a year, or was it just part of the adventure to visit?
You know, I wanted at that point, but the reality came in. Like my parents are like, "What are you doing? You come back and work, and get yourself settled." So I went back. I started working in Tokyo. That was,
What
you
kind
know,
what kind of work did you do? What were you prepared to do at that point?
well, I took whatever I could
Uh-huh.
get. So my first job was management consulting.
Uh-huh.
So it was a very, again, it satisfied my curiosity and adventure because you get to see how big companies work behind, the scene. You have projects to, um, improve the supply chain of this manufacturing company, or
So
different.
were you able to live on your own, or did you have to still live with your parents when you were working?
No, I lived on my own.
Uh-huh.
So it was, in a way, I was enjoying that kind of life. You become a professional, you earn, you live on your own. To
So, I mean, were you still shy? Were you still sheltered? Did you begin to, make lots of friends? Did you have adventures in Tokyo, or did you sort of follow a pretty straight line what you were doing?
I mean, I did my share, I would say. I mean, I didn't go crazy, but went out for drinks and some, late night.
Yeah. Were you
Yeah.
happy? Do you think that you were happy when you were doing that?
First few years, I was happy,
Uh-huh.
and then gradually, I started thinking, "What am I doing?" It's a very demanding job, and you spend so many hours during the day, doing this work, and all I'm doing is to make a big company more profitable.
Uh-huh.
And like, what I wanted to do something more, or something that benefits society or people. And that desire was there with me since childhood. I wanted to help
Right.
people. Um, and yeah, so after several years, I realized this is not what I want to do.
Let me ask a question here. I have no idea what the religious or spiritual context of growing up in Japan would be. Did God
Yeah.
play any part in your life? Did you have any religious tradition that you were raised in?
You know, there was no God.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my family is Buddhist, but it's more like a cultural
Mm-hmm.
practice that
Mm-hmm.
you have like we have an altar,
Mm-hmm.
um, but you you do certain things not out of um, religious belief, but just because it's a custom, it's a culture to do certain things. Um, and yeah, we never spoke about God or religion. It was almost a taboo.
Uh-huh. Understand.
Um, hmm,
But in your own heart, I mean, I grew up Jewish and I would describe it pretty much the same. We never really talked about God. We did certain things. And truthfully, I never had any sense of God in my life at all. I
hmm.
wasn't against him. I just never thought about him. Did you? Did you have any sense of being part of a greater reality when you were a child, or was it just not part of your life?
You know, I had a sense that there's something bigger,
Uh-huh.
I mean, some bigger force
Uh-huh.
working. But
Is that why you wanted to help people? Was that part of that?
no, I think it was more like I have to be good, or I want to be a good person.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah. Very
yeah,
So now
And
we're a successful Japanese Tokyo professional,
yeah.
but we're beginning to think maybe there's a better life. So what happened after that?
So I started thinking, like, what can I do? Should I just, scrap everything and start all over? And but then after some time, I realized. So I started thinking, what another question I had is, one is what do I want to do, and the other is I want to be happy,
Mm-hmm.
and what makes me happy? What is it? So I started, thinking about it. And one thing that was important for me was to be with nature.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm in the nature, I felt that I'm just open and relaxed, and I'm happy. And so I started thinking, oh, okay, let me do something to work with the nature, so that if I'm going to work on something and spend lots of time, I'll do, what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
What makes me happy. And so I changed the career. I went back to school to study environmental management, and then worked in the company which had lots of environmental technologies
Mm-hmm.
to offer, and all that was very good. And then I shifted to NGO. It's a long story, winding story, but and then the time came that I came to India
So why
for.
India? Was there just a job opportunity, or was it India itself you wanted to see?
I had no interest in India. It was just a job.
Uh-huh.
In the beginning, I mean, the moment I landed and stepped out of the airport, it just felt right.
Isn't that interesting? So what kind of a job drew you here? What was the job that you were drawn
So it was a project. It was a very so there was an idea of, so the company and the NGO that I was involved with, I mean, that was working on solar energy, solar panels.
Uh-huh.
So did I lose?
I've lost your connection briefly. Let's see. See if you come back. Oops. She went away. Okay. So you were saying as soon as you stepped
Out.
onto the ground in India, you felt at home.
Yeah.
Why was that? What was it about India that attracted you at that point?
At that point, I didn't know. That point I couldn't tell, but yeah, but then I came to experience other things. But so the project that brought me to India was about solar energy.
Uh-huh.
And we wanted to um, introduce solar power into rural villages where electricity was not available.
Right.
So I got to go to remote villages.
Uh-huh.
That was, I think, one of the turning points, I guess. It was so beautiful, and that really made me think this is home. Um, and also, what was um, surprising was, I mean, there are different people, different kinds of people in everywhere, but even in those um, remote, poor villages, there are people who look very happy, and they have hope, they have energy in their eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and it, which many people in Tokyo don't have, for example.
No, that's exactly the truth, right?
Yeah. And and I mean, of course, their life is not easy,
Right.
but there's something that they have that we don't have. Or
Right.
so that was really a big, mm, I don't want to say attraction, but I mean, it was very, uh, mm, I don't know. That's why I kept coming back to India.
Right. So when in all of this did you meet Master? When did Master come
That,
to your life?
that doesn't happen like
And how
another
well, how did
several
that happen? How did it happen that you came to know Master?
years. Um, so so after that, I shifted to
Uh-huh.
India. I was living in Delhi for several years, uh, and I was continuing this solar project, feeling satisfied to a certain extent, and yet, mm, again, I wasn't sure, is this my life? you know um, am I going to continue this for the rest of my life?
Mhm.
Um, and then there was I, and then there was increasingly the feeling that I am not being myself.
Oh, interesting.
Meaning,
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I mean, it's just not only from the professional life, but maybe personal life and everything. Like I was feeling, I I'm just being in a cage, and that cage, I created it.
Ah, fascinating. Yeah. Uh-huh.
and and I feel that I'm in a certain point where that I don't know, I don't think this is right, or I don't like it, but I also don't know how to break it.
Right.
And that's how I started uh, trying to find a way through, try to learn meditation, or
Uh-huh.
I've been reading philosophical books or religious books
And
even before,
uh,
but then I wasn't really finding. And the thing is, I think throughout my life till that point, I believed if I work hard,
mhm,
I will get there. I will get somewhere,
mhm.
you know. And but I was coming to the point where those things are not giving me satisfaction.
Mhm.
It's
So
uh,
did you see an advertisement for Yogananda's teachings? Did you meet someone?
yeah.
How
So
did that happen?
so one day I met a friend.
Uh-huh.
Uh, or I happened to go to her yoga class, and
Uh-huh.
she was holding a book,
Uh-huh.
surprise, autobiography of a yogi,
Uh-huh.
and she was not even recommending the book to me. She was just saying, I'm going to recommend this book to someone.
Uh-huh.
And I just registered it in my head that, oh, maybe I'll check it out also.
Uh-huh.
Um, and maybe a few days later, I just saw an ad of Ananda with
Uh-huh.
master space.
Uh-huh.
That's how. But interesting thing is that because I was struggling uh, till that point, um, I mean, I was talking. One of my good friends told me, Indian friends told me that you should find your guru.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I mean that the concept of guru is not really familiar to me. So I was thinking, okay, and but still, it was a very good friend, so I trusted his advice, and I was keeping my wish list in my diary. So I put on top that I want to find a guru.
Uh-huh.
And a few months later, the autobiography appears.
The yogi comes to you. So
Yeah.
yeah. So Chika, so when you saw Master, did you realize he was your guru, or did you have to study for a while before it came to you that it was so?
Um, Maybe so. First time I came to Ananda soon after I saw the ad.
Uh-huh.
I got an autobiography of a yogi.
Uh-huh.
I took it home.
Uh-huh.
Um, and yeah, it wasn't obvious initially.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't sure. I was just reading it because I got the book
Right.
slowly. But then maybe a month or two later,
Uh-huh.
I I just knew
That's very good. So
he's here.
eventually I mean, because I know you're not working for your NGO anymore. You've given you're living in the ashram, and it's all that you do. So did that happen just like one day? You just realized that this is what you were looking for? How did it come to you? Did it come to you quickly? And
I It came quite quickly that Ananda is my home.
uh-huh.
Um, I started coming to Sunday satsang like
Uh-huh.
right after, and
Uh-huh.
every week, like even before I took meditation course,
Uh-huh.
I just couldn't help it. But um, it it was very interesting. And then in my mind, as I got Kriya and getting to know Ananda more, I was thinking, oh, maybe someday it will be great if I could, serve
Uh-huh.
at Ananda. And then my project with the NGO that finished,
Uh-huh.
like maybe 1 month later or something, and they said there's a gap. The new project is not coming up right away, so you're free. And I thought, okay, maybe I'll come to the ashram and serve. So
Uh-huh.
I started coming like once a week, then became twice a week, 3 times a week.
Uh-huh.
And soon I was here.
Uh-huh.
And Daya said, yeah, why don't you become a full time? And it just happened.
Do you feel now that you said earlier that you didn't feel like you were where you were supposed to be. You felt like you'd created a cage for yourself. Do you feel like you've moved out of those, that the things that were oppressing you, that you've now found your way to your real life? How would you describe what makes living at Ananda your real life? How would you say that?
Mm, I, I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I think now I know that there's someone or God, Master, that who who loves me and watches over me and who guides me. And so it's not, it's just, I feel secure. And
When you think about your future as a devotee and as part of Ananda, what does that look like to you? What do you think? If you think about the future at all, how do you see Ananda unfolding? How do you see your life unfolding?
I don't know. I just hope to keep serving whatever ways.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm happy to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Do you
And yeah, go ahead.
do you feel your childhood hope to help people is being fulfilled in what you're doing now?
I hope. And at least what I know now is that, to help, the way I want to help is not about like fulfilling material needs, but to in some way contribute to changing their consciousness or how they see their lives or how they see themselves. Because I wasn't satisfied with myself, for a long time, and yeah, I mean, it was all about like I'll work hard, I'll prove myself, but it really, I mean, maybe I wouldn't say it doesn't matter, but it's not everything. It is.
Well, Chika, I think that's a beautiful story. And I'm just so pleased that Master found you and rescued you. I mean, like all the rest of us, he rescued us from going in circles and spending another lifetime that doesn't mean anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. So your story is very unusual, and I'm very touched by it. I certainly understand how moving it is for all of us. Thank you very much for sharing. It was just lovely to hear. Thank you so much, dear. God bless you.